The San Jose Sharks lose 4-3. I was about to say 4-2. We're off to a great start. The San Jose Sharks lose 4-3 against the Montreal Canadiens, and we're here to break it down on Teal Town, USA. You know where to find us. You know us. You love us. It's Teal Town, USA, and my computer's glitching out, so this is really fun. You can find us on all the socials, on the Utes, on the Blue Sky, on the X, if you're on that still, on the Insta, on the Threads, on the Facebook, on the Reddit. We have a Discord. We have TikTok, I think. I'm not really sure. Anyways, enough about that shebang. I'm joined here with Landi. How are you doing, bud?
Bonsoir, mon chéri. Yeah, that's about the biggest highlight of the evening for me. Yeah, I love putting my French to use when we play Montreal, but you know what? I think you said it perfectly in the green room, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and ride with that. It was a perfect tank game.
It's the perfect tank game. Listen,
Yeah.
dude, the fact that they just lost their best goal, like their leading point scorer, and still kept this game close, I don't mind it. The play that led to the game-winning goal was just kind of a bad play. So, it's all good. We live and we learn. They're a young team. Yes, and that was the dumbest 4 minutes of hockey I've in the last 4. Yeah. Jules,
No, I mean, we'll go through the game, but I mean, just kind of overall feeling, like the broadcast had mentioned, a little bit of a probative type of game to start off with. They didn't really know what exactly to expect from the team, and just wide brushstrokes. I mean, tonight was really a young man's kind of game. It was a good back and forth type battle. There was some really good checking, but also the talent that was on display between Suzuki and Hudson and Celebrini and Smith and Eklund. I mean, we talk about how the league is getting younger and younger and younger, but it's on full display here in front of us. And it was just kind of a cool game to watch from that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And the Sharks make it known by doing probably the best play of the season on their opening goal. I made audible noises watching that. So Celebrini kicks it off from just the most insane tic-tac-toe play you'll ever see. If you haven't seen the replay, go see it. It is insane. Just a beautiful tic-tac-toe play that gets the Sharks on the board. And then, the Sharks are up 1-0. So the Sharks are up 1-0 on a power play goal thanks to Celebrini, assisted by Toffs and Eki, Toffoli and Eklund. And then the second period happens, and I start remembering why I hate cheering for this team at times. Cole Caulfield will tie it up on a power play. I literally saw him 4 times just prepare to shoot it and then not, and he was just waiting for the right moment to just fully blast it, and that puts the Canadiens tied. And then really shortly after that, about 4 minutes, give or take a few seconds, Newhook would score again to give the Canadiens the lead. And at this point, we'll get to this call. I have a problem with this call. At this point, you're like, it's 2-1. This can either go 2 directions. The Sharks are going to suck, and it's going to be like an 8-1 loss, or they're going to make it interesting. And they chose to make it interesting. What did you think? So then there's a play that happens, and in my opinion, it was a goal. But the NHL's explanation was the Situation Room initiated video review to further examine whether Fabian Zetterlund's initial shot entered the Montreal net. There was no conclusive evidence to show that the puck completely crossed the Montreal goal line. Give me 4 seconds and I'll show you guys the replay of this. Landy, what did you think of this nonsense?
Yeah, no, Yeah, I thanks, Jules. I appreciate that. And I mean, on this particular play, I'm I see the puck get fished out of the net, right? And you see it after the initial jolt in. You can kind of see from that side view that we were shown from the broadcast, and I think here Jules is pulling it up for us, that the puck actually goes all the way past the line, the blue, the
Let's
past the
see.
blue paint and into the goal. So I definitely see how, we can definitely see the puck from our
Oh, right there.
perspective. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like right. Well, the thing is, the only way I would argue this is that there's no like conclusive evidence.
Right. And that's exactly where I was going to go, where we can clearly see this, but there's no like definitive marker of where
I
the
guess is that
puck
the
is in relation to the red line. So I guess I understood the call. I felt, it was a genuine goal, but with the amount of resources and amount of, source footage that we had, I don't think that we could have gotten the call overturned. So, instinctively, yeah, it looks like a goal. It feels like a goal. It's a goal. But from a pure perspective of, okay, the goal, this was not called a goal on the ice, and you had to use the video, the video to conclusively prove that there was, that there was the puck crossing the goal line, and unfortunately, there's just no view that shows that.
I mean, the closest thing we have is this. So for those who the puck, I fast forward about a second. We don't know where that puck is. I mean, it's probably underneath the goal line, but sorry, keep going, Landy.
Yeah, no, I mean, in
Oh, I
so
see. It's right there.
right, yeah, exactly. So we see it, right? I mean, we see it. I mean, to everybody, that puck is past the red line, but there is no direct camera shot of a puck past the red line with not any obscurity in front of it.
I
And
mean,
that's the problem.
that's a puck to me if I've ever seen one.
I agree. To me, and like I said, to me, it looks like it's a goal, but unfortunately, by the letter of the law, it has to be conclusively shown that it was a goal. And I think that you could argue that maybe the net diffuses the puck, or we don't actually see a puck in a line, so therefore, there's no conclusive evidence. I mean,
Bullshit.
again, I agree. I agree. That was definitely a
I
goal.
literally just saw a clear shot of the puck in the net.
Oh,
But,
I hear you, and I feel
uh,
bad for Zets, because that would have been a really good goal to have. But yeah,
anyways, we get something good. Colin Graff snipes it. First goal. Good for him.
yeah. And one that I would have thought his goal would have come sooner, right? When they said it would take 18 games for him to get his first goal, I felt like when he first got up, he had a lot of jump. And when he first got up, he showed like a lot of promise. And then it kind of just really tailed off. But I guess, finally good to see him get on the score sheet and get a little bit more elevated ice time and a little bit better positioning now that the trades have been made and you had to kind of reshuffle the deck a little bit. So good on Colin Graff. And man, I mean, that shot was really wicked. I wonder why he doesn't shoot that more often.
He almost got a second one there a little later on, but it's nice to see. He's a kid that I thought he played one of his best games. Him and Smith, honestly, hold up before we move on. Smith had a ridiculous game passing wise. Like you can just see Smith's confidence keep growing. And this is kind of the Smith I saw, I think it was Half Wall Hockey who's like, did Smith just watch highlights of himself in his 23 draft year? Like he was basically just doing all of that shit. So it feels like it's finally clicking for Smithy, which I'm so happy for, because him and Celebrini on the flanks of the power play, because they're both threats to shoot it. is so nice. It is so nice. But yeah, Graf got a goal. Props to him. But then the fun kind of ends there. Not really, but Brendan Gallagher scores to tie up the game in the third period. Or no, I lied. Is this to take to take the lead? My bad. To take the lead in the third period. I mean, so Sharks of you, I guess.
I mean, Brendan Gallagher is a guy you love to hate, right? I mean, it's like he's a player everybody would love to have on their team, and you hate him when you hate when you play against him. So good on him. And I mean, I'm surprised at how far he's climbed up in the points in Montreal as far as the historical state of the franchise. I mean, he's in the top 20 in points or top 20 in assists or something. They flashed around on the broadcast tonight, and I was like, wow, with the superstar power that has gone through Montreal and just the prestigious institution that it is. Good on him. So 18th, there you go. Thank you, Burge. Appreciate it.
And then Celebrini is like, I'm not done for the night. And he dishes out just an insane pass to Toffoli, who does his Toffoli thing with his. I did not put up the banner. Puckeye's gonna be so disappointed. Who put in his 19th of the year to tie it for the Sharks. And then, a power play happens. Portorowski has an unfortunate error that occurs, and it's 4-3, and the Sharks lose thanks to a shorthanded goal by Joel Armia. So I do want to give a shout out. Am I cutting out, or is this just my lagging?
No, I think it's just the lagging.
Cool.
Your audio has been good.
No, I do want to give a shout out to Portorowski. For those of you who don't know, Portorowski leads the AHL in points. At the time that he was sent down, or that he was brought up, by bad, with 45. And if for those of you who don't know, he won a Calder Cup with Warsaw back, I believe, in 22 with the Chicago Wolves. I am becoming a robot. Yes, he won the Calder Cup back in 22 with the Chicago Wolves with Ryan Warsofsky. So this is second time around. Warsaw, from if you didn't watch the interview with Brody and Potsy, I really recommend it. Warsaw kind of saved his career, and then he put up like 100 points in the AHL, which isn't common. So props to him. I was really hoping he would get his first goal today, but I think overall, it's a really nice story. So that's all I'll say to that.
Yeah, I mean, Podgorowski, I mean, look, he's a journeyman AHLer. I think had he shown whatever it is you need to show to an NHL roster, as far as talent or, as far as what you're going to be, as far as your ceiling goes in the NHL, he just didn't get a real good opportunity to show what he's got. Now, mind you, it takes a lot of effort to even get that shot. So, the fact that he stayed in the NHL for so long, or the AHL for so long, and not gotten, a definitive NHL shot, that to me tells me that either he got buried, kind of like a Yanni Gourde situation, or there was something that he wasn't doing in his, in his game, that warranted getting the NHL call up. So, like you said, it's a good story, and it's really, I mean, I'm glad to see that he's finally able to come up here. We'll see what he can do as far as, I mean, is there any modicum of hope for him to stay past this season for challenging for an NHL role? I doubt that, but
yeah,
excuse me.
Also, no, but yeah, honestly, props to Potsy. I'm glad for him. And besides that, anything else? I mean, listen, the kids had a really good game today. Like, you can't really blame this on the kids. Like, the kids are performing, and that's all I want to see for the last 28 games of this godforsaken miserable season, so I can start talking about the prospects. What are your thoughts on that, Landi?
So first off, I am drinking out of kind of like a big carafe kind of thing, so that's cool. But and it's just iced tea.
This
As
is
far as
LaCroix before people come at me. Anyway, keep going.
LaCroix,
LaCroix.
come on now.
It's LaCroix.
But as far as the kids go, I think we had Celebrini really step up when it came to him versus another superstar young player in Hudson. And we also saw Smith, showing really, continuing to show really good signs that he's finally breaking out of that little bit of a slump he had. Now he's got a 7-game point streak, and Celebrini's leading all the rookies. Don't look now, but these two kids can play hockey, and I think that they seemed bummed out to me, especially when they had that Celebrini interview between periods. It sounded like this was a kid that was coming off of a not emotional, but kind of a crappy situation, and that his friend, his friend and his veteran mentor ends up getting traded away. So that's a little concerning. But as far as their output and as far as showing the talent and again answering on the score sheet, they're doing exactly what they need to do.
Yeah. I was asked a question. I wanted to address the question. I'm waiting on quotes. Who do we think is getting traded next? Because there's literally nothing else to talk about with this game.
Who's getting traded next?
Who's with Granny already being out, CC being out?
Well, we've had Mario Ferraro as a guy that has kind of been circled. He's I think he could be a piece that some team would want to have as a depth piece. Cunnin, Cunnin definitely. Ruda, another good one. But Ruda has to get healthy, right, and has to show that he's got something left in the tank. Cunnin, I don't know. I watched his game tonight, and I'm just left wondering, like, I know you're a talented. You gotta have a modicum of talent to be in the NHL, and all NHLers can skate and all of that. But, whew, boy howdy, man, the hands do not keep up with the feet with that one. He can skate a lot faster than he can move his hands, and that 2-on-1 that he had, that he shanked the pass, that was rough. Really rough. So I worry because you're gonna have to send him to a team that's just looking for the raw muscle. And I don't know that a lot of teams that are going on deep playoff runs will just want that, right? Because they're going to want to have somebody who has a little bit of skill, and I'm just, I wonder sometimes about Cunnin.
We all wonder sometimes. Naturally, he'll sign an extension. Don't kill me. Naturally,
you're probably right.
Naturally, that's what's gonna happen. What do we think of Dewar? He's fine. He just needs to stop giving away the puck at random moments. And yes, someone did take Cody Ceci. Yeah. Now, granted, the first round pick was not for Cody Ceci, but someone did take Cody Ceci. You mean our captain Luke Cunnin?
Our next captain Luke Cunnin.
Our next, right? I thought that was Ferraro, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, dank. Imagine being the young guy 7 years ago. Yeah, exactly. I can't believe it's been that long with Mario, but where have the years gone?
We've derailed, and I've run out of things to talk about. But listen, this is, I said this before, and this is the fucking perfect tank game. Like, I don't need this team to win many games. I just need them to not be like blown out 18-5 each night. And that's what happened, you know. Do I think they get a win before the Four Nations? Probably not.
No, I don't think
But
so either.
I don't really think so. So naturally, they're going to go streaking before the Four Nations, aren't they now, boys? Sharks, if you do that, I will actually kill you. It's called Shark Tank. It is called Shark Tank. So yeah, their next opponents are the Canucks and the Stars. Yeah, I'm gonna bet they don't get a win here.
Well, I mean, we say that, but the Canucks are just this. I don't know. They're just this bipolar franchise that you just never know what the hell you're gonna get out of them, and it would be so Sharks, the plucky Sharks, to just kick Vancouver while they're down, because that's just kind of what we do. So I don't know. It'll be interesting though, that's for sure.
So naturally they're gonna beat Dallas. Got it. Okay. Naturally they're somehow gonna beat Dallas like 8-5.
Brings up a good point though, Jules. What would you think of trading for Elias Pettersson
from the Canucks?
Yeah.
We'd have to give up way too much.
Yeah, I would wonder what that would cost.
Too much.
But I wonder if, you had him and Celebrini together as a 1-2. That would be.
I just don't see it, but I get the logic. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think Greer's trying to build this all through the draft. Like, he wants them all to be the same age. Greer signs Marner as a UFA. No, I mean, they're gonna have $44 million in cap space. Like, I don't think no, let's not bring in the Mavericks GM to mediate the trade. Fuck off. I'm joking, but don't know. He traded fucking Luka Doncic. I don't know what you're doing. No, I think, listen, like, the Sharks have $44 million. They're gonna have to do something with it. So whether that's Elias Pettersson, I don't think so, but like Nikolai Ehlers?
Yeah.
Neil Pionk? We need defensemen.
I think defensemen and wingers, right? I mean, defenseman and right wing, I think, is kind of the two holes. And when you're talking about defensemen, I think you're pretty set on the offensive side of the puck. It's just more defensive defensemen now. Yeah, you have Mook, but to me, he's more of a two-way type of defenseman. He's not a full defensive defenseman.
Did I just read Cunnin 4x10? No, I think they could still listen. They need Schaefer is who they really need.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine a Schaefer and Dickinson as a pairing, and Mukhamadullin and Cagnoni?
Yeah, that's a solid top four.
That's a mobile top four.
That's like, a very mobile, very active top four. Mukhamadullin, I thought, had the minute that man figures out how to use his body, he's gonna be good. He just needs to remember that he's not 5'4".
Yeah, he's not little.
He needs to play like he's bigger than because he's like, Mook had I loved Mukhamadullin's game tonight. But like, I loved Mook's game. I think they also have Eric Polkamp, who could make it. I don't want to say
everybody's playing on the right, right shot. We need a right shot defenseman in the top four or two, ideally. I mean, I agree. Ideally, you want to have two, but Dickinson can play on his offside pretty well, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Mook, you look at Mook and he's not comfortable on his offside, so I would try and get him a right shot before I'd worry about Dickinson.
Who's that? Oh, Blichel. Yeah, that's Liam was the guy it was rumored they were interested in trading for him for Dallas, but I think This is my little conspiracy theory. They were either gonna get a first or the Blickshell defenseman. I don't think they were gonna get both. I think they had to choose, but I don't know if this is true, but they may have had to choose between those two. What D am I signing?
Pionk, right?
Pionk, yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's the most obvious one, or Ekblad.
Yeah, honestly, if you that would not bother me in the least if you wanted to drop a truckload on Ekblad and just defensively center the defense core around him. Yeah,
Just
the children around him. Yeah, exactly.
Just
Because
Ekblad and the children. Let's go, boys.
there's worse things, I mean, Ekblad with, a bunch of leashes for his children that he's walking. I don't know. Interesting. But somebody, Sharky Boy, asking Eric Landi over under of 10 goals against 10 goal against games this season, 0.5. Which do you go? I'm not sure what he's saying.
Oh, 10 goals against, like a 10-goal game like we had last year.
Oh,
in
the remaining, I'm
28 games. I'll go under.
Yeah, I'll put it at 2. I think that there's two instances in the next, half the upcoming portion of the season where I think they could give up a 10-goal affair again. But that's just me. So I would say I would take the over on your 0.5.
The thing is, so I would rather have a chance. The thing is, they're gonna have a chance at both, no matter if they sign one or if they sign the other. The Sharks have 44 in cap space. Not saying go spend it all. I'm just saying they could do both if Greer decides to go on drugs, so
but remember this team also, we don't want to have the prolonged rebuild, right? And I think that was part of the problem with Edmonton was they didn't really know when to start going after free agents to bolster their first round picks. And that's going to be a very interesting signal from Greer as to when he thinks that the team will be competitive, because he signed to Foley this last offseason to 4 years. So that to me signals that he's expecting the team to come out of the rebuild within 4 seasons. So in that case, that would be 3 seasons coming up, into this off season. So you're looking for probably a kid, or at this point, a free agent in like the 28, 29-year-old range to add. And you're probably looking for, I would say, like, if you could swing it, like 28, 29-year-old defenseman who is gonna give you, 6 or 7 good years. I think that's kind of the play. You're looking for somebody who's not yet like in that 30s range. So you kind of want him in the younger side, like I said, 27, 28, but old enough so that he can kind of steer the youngins that are on the team, right? So it's got to be like old enough to be good, but not old enough to start losing touch with the young kids. So that's kind of where the sweet spot to me is. And when you start going after those free agents, that's the signal that the team's ready to play.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Matt Dumba. Yeah. A guy like Matt Dumba. That's kind of, if you're ready to go, if you're saying, okay, I'm ready to compete now for a playoff spot, that's the guy you go after.
I mean, I still go Pionk, but with that being said,
King K, you're describing Mario Ferraro, LOL. Well, I'm describing a good Mario Ferraro.
Oh God. Jerry F, thank you for the super chat, bud. Hate the losses, but a few glimpses of light tonight. Yep. All right. With that, We somehow got this to 30 minutes, and that's a miracle. In case you missed it, you know where to find us. You can click on the subscribe button or the woodish notification bell to notify when we get wood. Click the thumbs up. You can find us on all the social medias I listed prior to this shenaniganery starting. But Jules is getting better at hosting. But Landi, any final words tonight?
I'm also Eric. Somebody asked where's Eric today, and I'm like, well, I'm also Eric, so I'm here. But if you're referring to Puck Guy, he has the night off this evening. And yes, AJ will return on Sunday, so look out for Pucknologists, because that's where you will find AJ. Now, whether or not he randomly falls into one of these after darks, that's for you to find out. So you need to come and check out after every single game.
Yeah, I would check out after every single game. I'm working on a little surprise, so.
But as far as my final thoughts go and where you can find me, final thoughts, I want to continue to have moments in which you can teach for the kids, but also moments in which you can build off of. I think tonight you had both of those instances. Good on Colin Graff, good for Celebrini and for Smith to really show up against the Montreal Canadiens. And as far as where you can find me, you can use my first name ERIK, last name LANDI.
Yeah. No, and my final thoughts is I need to find the right page to end the show, first of all. But secondly, no, when the Sharks lose, Matthew Schaefer becomes a Shark. And with that, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real, Teal. Good night, guys.